Wednesday, January 7th, 2015, 11:30 a.m. Corinne Ray had just picked up her daughter from kindergarten when she was attacked by a gunman. The gunman led her and her daughter into the office building where they killed 4 cartoonists, 3 editors, and a police bodyguard, among others. In total, 12 people were killed. The 2 men, linked to Al-Qaeda, targeted the newspaper for their provocative depiction of the Prophet Muhammad. These satirists, these victims, knew they were entering controversial waters when publishing cartoons of Muhammad, yet they chose to do it anyway because they felt that radical jihadists should learn to take a joke. This is the case of Charlie Hebdo. People are being killed because of humor, and it is the power of satire that my speech champions. We know satire is important, but how has it become so popular? For one, it's funny. It's funny, and it's become a popular response to the mainstream media, specifically partisan cable news shows, MSNBC and Fox News, Fair and Balanced, and Ryan Williams. Let's dive into some stats. According to the annual review of political science, they found that 30 million Americans watch at least 1 hour of partisan cable news shows per week, mainly to reaffirm their previously held beliefs. Rachel Maddow, in a speech to Harvard University in 2010, said, and I'm paraphrasing, "The closest way I know to boost my own ratings is to show some villainous behavior from a media figure on the right. The numbers rise because there's an appetite for hearing that media figures on the right are horrible people saying horrible things." So I guess it makes sense that based on a 2009 Tufts study, they found that elements of outrage appear every 90 to 100 seconds, with MSNBC's Keith Olbermann and Fox News' Glenn Beck. That means that just in this presentation, there'll be 4 to 5 rants about our president. I'm sorry, our Kenyan Muslim socialist East Coast but also West Coast. Is Hawaii a coast? It doesn't matter because where is his birth certificate? Obama. And what has all this yelling and screaming really done? It's polarized 80% of the country that strongly identifies with the political party, while alienating 20% of the country that hasn't made up their mind yet. We're more politically divided today than we've been since the Civil War. Or since when this happened. Satirists have found a way to filter through politics and look at policy from an angle of absurdity. The Daily Show with Jon Stewart, which lasted for 16 seasons, featured correspondents and went on to create spin-off shows with similar arguments, such as Stephen Colbert, John Oliver, Larry Wilmore, and now Samantha Bee. And these shows, while they've been a great way to take a step back and look at the news from a humorous angle, they've also been mechanisms to get people back into politics. Last month, John Oliver's Donald Trump takedown accumulated more than 75 million hits on YouTube and Facebook. Now, did the clip work? No, we're still screwed. But you bet that if Trump's the nominee, this clip is making a comeback. Speaking of Donald Trump, let's talk about tragedy. The world of satire captures what's on the minds of millions of Americans when covering tragedy. As Jon Stewart once said, what satire does best is articulate an intangible feeling people are having, bring it into focus, and say you're not alone. When satirical sources, especially The Onion, cover tragedy, they reassure the audience of their reaction by supporting the victim and exposing the absurdity that led to the tragedy in the first place. For example, since 2012, after every single mass shooting, The Onion have released this headline: "No way to prevent this, says only nation where this regularly happens." Exposing absurdity in everyday life in order to prove a larger point about society and human nature as a whole. And this stuff inspires me. It inspired me to create the Goldberg Times freshman year, a satirical news blog with headlines such as, "Amid slow start, RG3 to work at Goldberg full-time." And college student completes ice bucket challenge during service trip to Somalia. This also led me to my newest venture, the Rival UMD. The Rival is a student-run publication at 15 campuses across the country. However, at Maryland, we're the only entirely satirical publication. We're here to cover campus stories and national news, and serve as a satirical response to the Odyssey Online, University Primetime, and all the college millennial bullshit news you skim on Facebook. We're here to satirize the language of UMD students and college students everywhere in order to prompt a more self-aware society and a more politically and socially engaged student body. So what's my point? Read our material. Please, please, please read our material. We launched 5 weeks ago and we've accumulated 60,000 hits solely because our moms are constantly refreshing our page every 4 seconds. My mom had to quit her job at the Jewish Community Center in order to support her son's career in comedy. Ladies and gentlemen, there's never been a more Jewish phrase ever uttered. Jon Stewart was named the most trusted name in news time and time again for his ability to take the pulse of the country through his social commentary. And here at Maryland, we hope to do the same. We've already released headlines such as, "An attempt to regain youth vote, Clinton refers to Benghazi as lit." UMD student finds solace in fact that high school classmate still pursuing rap career. An announcement, funeral for Drop Burrito Bowl to be held Saturday at noon. My final message for you all is don't dismiss comedy. We're the court jesters. We sit in the back of the classroom throwing spitballs, yet we are thankful we are protected under the First Amendment, because others are not so lucky. Last November, after the Paris terror attack that claimed the lives of 130 people, Charlie Hebdo released this image, drawn by our survivor, Corinne Redden. In English, the issue reads, "They have weapons, fuck them, we have champagne." The strategy here, take the pulse of the country through social commentary and let everyone know we'll be all right. Thank you so much.